Alright, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be going over Mr. Montgomery. I know I haven't really uploaded a video for all these bosses because I'm like, hey, all the slides are in the Discord. I mean, most people already know this by now, but yeah, if you need to know how to farm all these bosses, they're all in the Discord. But I know some players are asking to do a video as well because it's like free content. Sure, why not? So we're going to go over Mr. Montgomery in this video and how to farm it properly because you can kind of cheese up the whole dungeon just by literally walking around. So I'll talk about that and some other stuff as well. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And let's get into it. So Mr. Montgomery, it's on the Dew Moon. This isn't challenge mode, of course. Challenge mode will be a separate video, but you can cheese the whole dungeon by walking around the whole enemies. What basically you just do is have someone pull one of the enemies and then you just go around, and it's kind of straightforward because sometimes it's a bit buggy where like if you go around and you don't pull a mob, it just pulls you into the fight. So sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. It's just give or take, trial and error, but have one person just go and flee and come back and just repeat, and then you could just skip the 2 fights, right? Or you can actually do the fights if you want to. It really just comes down to what you want to do as a team, but I personally would just say go around the fights. Makes your life easier, because the completion of the badge isn't the dungeon completions, it's more of just killing the boss completions. So that's why you would just go around and just ignore all this stuff, so keep that in mind. But the fight itself is way easier now. They, I guess, nerfed him to the ground than what he used to be. When what he used to be was, technically, if we're comparing it to all the other fights, like Freddy's 1 round, Crash is 1 round, and Dew Moon's 2 round. Mr. Montgomery was the only one that was like 7 rounds in total, because the fact that you're doing 2 fights, and then on top of that, Mr. Montgomery would take you like around 5 rounds, because he was immune, and you weren't able to kill him till he just basically killed himself. Just to summarize it, so there's that. But basically what they did to him, I guess, within the recent patch is that they legit nerfed him to the ground, and and let's just say he doesn't have his immunity anymore. Of course, in challenge mode, he's still gonna have his annoying cheats of him being immune, and of course like that, because it is challenge mode, of course. So there's that, which I'll eventually get to, but there's videos I have to prioritize first, so there's that. But he's really easy. He still has his basic cheats of just ramping up and doing the Tempest every round, but he's not gonna have the cheat where he's just immune. So there's that. So you can really just Golden Cindy at this boss. You can do triple feints and AoE. You can do there's many. It just really comes down to what you want to do. Scald and Cindy is always what I'm just gonna be biased towards, but if you don't have it, you can turn it into a 2 round if you need to. If you don't have access to the Decathlon deck, which I highly recommend that all players get for the 2-pip access, but if you don't, it's not the world. You know, it's not, world's not gonna end, but it makes fights drastically easier, and I'll repeat this every time that you should go get it. But yeah, you can just, if you can't do 1 round, there's no harm if you can extend it to 2nd round. Really, you're just only gonna farm this boss to get the badge completion, like especially if you have multiple characters. If you only have 1 character, then yeah, you're gonna be farming this character for a while. But what I highly recommend is get the badges on all your characters first, and then whatever left over you can target towards those bosses and farm whatever ones you need. So that's what I would recommend. It just saves you more time, and that's how I save so much time, because I literally have all the badges when it comes to crafting the pity system stuff. The only stuff I don't really go for on all my characters is the Crash badge, because Crash only gives you access to amulets, but I have every amulet, so I don't really need to have access to that badge. The other ones are more important, because if you want to defeat the fleets, you get access to sword pins. If you want to defeat Mr. Montgomery, you get access to square jewels, I believe. And then of course Freddy's good for the circle jewels. So they all have their own like separate purpose. That's why I prefer those, but that's why I don't do Crash at all, because I don't have a reason to. But Mr. Montgomery is drastically easier. I would recommend that you guys farm him, because hey, you need to get the badge anyways, and he does drop the decks. He will be dropping the decks for you, and that's kind of like his main source of drop that like it's really sought after. I mean, yeah, he drops power pins and stuff like that too, but in reality the main thing is that you're there for is because of the decks and I guess the jewels too, because the health jewels are really good, and I would recommend having those on all your builds, because I believe flat res isn't getting increased, and I don't even think it works in advanced. So it's one of those things where just health is just literally better and all right. And it's not like there's different variants of health jewels, which I really like. There's just one and that's it. Maybe there's more that I just haven't gotten, but in reality I've only gotten the 171s from questing, and I don't know if there's 161s at all, right? So I feel like other players would have brought it up by now, because I think it's been a week since Wilder's come out, at least at the time I'm recording this. It's been a week, because I'm recording this in the middle of the night. It's only like 1 in the morning, but I have to get all these videos out for you guys, of course, so there's that. So it really just comes down to how you want to do this. I know team up, a lot of players are complaining about team up in most of these fights, especially the fleet fight. I know I uploaded a video on how to do the fleet fight with the Willcast and everything like that, but you know, that's just how team ups are going to be, and team ups are always going to have like, no, this strat's better type thing, but it's just something you guys have to agree on and figure out what you're going to do. Like, you'll rarely see me in team up, if I'm gonna be honest, just because I'm going to farm basically by myself, or I'll get people in the Discord and do farming that way. So there's that as well. But thankfully they made Mr. Montgomery easier. I mean, his drops didn't equivalent to the amount of rounds that you had to do, because the fact of like 7 rounds and you're only getting like what, 1, 2 to 3. Actually, no, it's like 1 to 2 dream water. I don't know if I got 3 before. So it just didn't make sense. Now that he's 1 roundable, his drops kind of make more sense, and plus you can skip the minion fights, which honestly is good that you can, because of the fact that it's like, hey, now I don't have to do these 2 minion fights to get the decks, and it speeds up the process, especially if you're just trying to get the badge on multiple characters, because skipping the mob fights does add up over time. As much as you might not think about it, it really does, because the fact that, you know, it's 2 extra rounds of doing animations, and you know, you're doing 3 in total then at that point, because you're doing the final fight and you're doing the 2 mob fights prior to it. So there's that. And when it comes to actually doing the quest for the first time, you have to do, I would recommend doing the entire dungeon instead of skipping all the way to Mr. Montgomery, because of the fact that you won't be able to get the XP from the actual dungeon, and you might not even reach 170 because of it. So even when you do the initial quest, it's worth just doing it once all the way through, and then when you farm, you can just skip the 2 mob fights and then do Mr. Montgomery that way. But that's the basic premise of this boss. Very easy now. I was going to upload the whole Dispel way of farming this boss, but I mean, when I recorded that video, literally that same day it got patched, and now he's just 1 roundable. So there's that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, guys. More videos coming out soon with all the other stuff that I have to upload, so be on the lookout when it comes to that. And yeah, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join the Discord if you guys haven't, if you guys want to see the slides of how to do most of these fights. And yeah, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.